What's up, guys? Welcome to our Talking Dodgers podcast for you guys today. We're going to go over some of what happened in the offseason so far, our signings, what we think of it, thoughts, opinions. So let's get right into it. First off, I think this whole offseason, we're seeing that we're attempting to, one, trust our farm system, and then two, get under the luxury tax. And I know you probably have your own opinions, but I think we had a really good offseason for trying to achieve those two goals.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, Dodger fans that have been around for a couple of years, you guys will remember when we had Jock Peterson, Corey Seager, Cody Bellinger, all debut within like 3 years of each other. That's trusting our farm system, getting our younger guys involved. And I see this as the same thing what we're doing right now. We're starting to get our top young prospects. We're trying to give them a chance at the MLB level, see how they do. So
Yeah, so some of the younger prospects that I would expect to definitely have an impact this year right away. Miguel Vargas,
mm-hmm.
he's going to be fighting for a spot for sure. And then also James Outman, who we saw break out a little bit at the major league level last year. Um, yeah, I expect those two to have kind of the biggest impact.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily biggest impact, but the most opportunity right now. And then obviously later we're talking Bobby Miller and Gavin Stone that are potentially ready to come up,
I
as
mean,
well as Ryan Pepiot.
I
So
think I think Pepiot has a chance to win the fifth starter on the team. He has that chance to get that, and I think Bobby Miller also has a chance to win a bullpen job right out of the get go. I think if he comes out has a good spring training, he can start his career in the major leagues to get innings in the bullpen.
they won't do that.
I mean, look
Definitely
what we
won't.
did to Tyler Anderson. He started out as a reliever, and then he turned into
Yeah,
our
but
best
that's
starter
Tyler
last year.
Anderson. That's not our top prospect.
Yeah, but we want to give
Like
the top prospects any shape or form experience this year, because I don't think we're expecting to win all out this year.
see, I would argue because I think Bobby Miller does start in double or triple A. Get him a lot of starts again and kind of build
Mm-hmm.
off what he had last year. And then maybe eventually we get a key injury or a September call up and we want to go 6-man rotation, and that's when Bobby Miller slides into potentially getting some major league starts. But I think for him, I don't think he's going to go into the relief right away.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, if we wanted him to get that experience, it would be end of September going into October, kind of like we did with some of our other pitching prospects. But looking right now, I mean, Tony Gonsolin, Clayton Kershaw, Julio Urias, and then you just signed Noah Syndergaard. So that's
Dustin May.
four starters right there. I'm also forgetting Dustin May and Pepio, and who else am I forgetting? Um, who else?
The man, the myth,
I
the
mean,
legend.
that right there, we just named six starters.
Did you say Clayton Kershaw?
And then
I
and
wasn't.
then
I wasn't really listening.
yeah, I believe I
Yeah.
said Kirsch. Yeah. So we're talking six starters right there, and then you have Gavin Stone and Bobby Miller.
Mm-hmm.
So as we saw last year, pitching is definitely pitching. Having a lot of guys in your farm system as well, that could jump in is huge in case
Mm-hmm.
we get injured. But yeah, I
Especially
just
with Kershaw, because he's going to go down at some point with his back. That's just a given fact by now that we know that. But
mm,
I mean, I'll take it because then he's a lot fresher for later months in the year. So,
yeah,
all right. So
totally.
now,
I think yeah,
I mean, so looking at like the people that we non-tendered, didn't sign, or we released them: Justin Turner, Trey Turner, Bellinger, Urias. I mean, Edwin Rios. Um, we didn't re-sign Heaney, Anderson, Gallo, Kane Lee, Kimbrel, Nelson, Martin, and Kevin Pillar. So I mean, looking at the list, we lost a lot of key bullpen arms, and that's why I think we do have open spots in our bullpen. Like we're missing Kane Lee, Kimbrel. I know Nelson wasn't in it towards the end; he was at the beginning. But Chris Martin, that's
yeah,
three big guys that we need to fill those spots. I mean,
totally.
maybe some of our prospects start in the bullpen. That's my really belief because we haven't really signed any big relievers except for
Mm-mm.
one that we'll talk about in a little bit here. Yeah.
No, and there's not really much left in the market for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So it is looking slim. Maybe we acquire somebody via trade. Maybe we kind of give some of our younger guys, not necessarily Bobby Miller or Gavin Stone, some innings in the bullpen. Um, but yeah, I think we're gonna have to rely a lot on Ferguson, Almonte, um,
Vesia.
Daniel Hudson being back eventually will be huge. Vesia, and then maybe Bruce Dart takes a step up in his game.
I mean, we're also
Like
Evan
we definitely have
Phillips,
a good
best
bullpen.
best reliever
Yeah.
of last year for the Dodgers. Evan Phillips, he should
So
be our
we
closer this
have
year.
Evan Phillips and Blake Trinan. Those are two dogs, and then
Hmm.
we're gonna need somebody else to kind of step up. Because if you look at every good bullpen, they have a nasty closer, a lockdown closer, and then they have a good couple setup guys.
Hmm.
And right now, Phillips and Trinan are legit. We need another guy, I think.
Yeah, so going right into that, we signed JP Furizin. Don't know how to pronounce that last name yet.
Hmm.
0 ERA last year in 24.1 innings. We acquired him via trade from the Rays, I believe. Career ERA 2.41. So he's building off a really good year that he had last year. I think that's a huge signing, especially losing Canely, Kimbrel, and Martin that we needed to add in there. So adding him to that bullpen, I mean, we're already looking like we still have one of the best bullpens in the game. So that's so good to see,
Totally,
and especially with
totally. And
our ability with the pitching side of it to develop some guys, which will be nice to see.
I do believe he was injured, so I think he is out for the majority slash all of 2023. But there is a lot of control there, so that's
Mm-hmm.
another good pickup. Um, but yeah, I mean, having him eventually leads me to think that we're not going to make a move, and that we're going to turn to some of our guys and see who really steps up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so then going on to the little next point here is the Dodgers' ability to like revive careers. Like people, and you can see these pros making comments how they want to go to the Dodgers to help them revive their careers. And a couple guys that we signed, Noah Syndergaard, JD Martinez, and Jason Hayward. All of them have been really good in the past. They've had really good careers. They're looking to come to LA. They're all on a little bit of the older side, trying to revive or get back what they used to have, which is something that all Dodgers fans should be excited to see.
Yeah, I mean, definitely for me, one I'm most excited for is Noah Syndergaard. I think him working with Mark Pryor might be the best decision he could have made. And yeah, I think it was like 11 mil.
Mm-hmm.
So he's betting on himself to get a bigger contract after this year. But I could definitely see what we did with like Tyler Anderson or Andrew Heaney happening with Syndergaard, where we see the talent they have, and then and Mark Pryor and our pitching staff really just truly develop him and kind of revive his career. Exactly.
Yeah,
So
so I know when he was on the Mets, he was sitting around 100 miles per hour on each fastball thrown. And last year, towards the end with the Phillies, he was at 91, 92. So there's definitely potential in there that we can hopefully get out of him. And that would be nice to see. And I mean, that's looking like a really good rotation if all of them stay healthy for as long as they can.
yeah, and you're talking Noah Syndergaard as a four starter. That's
Mm-hmm.
if we can get him shoving like he can. I mean, that's a legit. And again, like we said, Bueller coming back at the end of the year, hopefully for the playoff
Mm-hmm.
run, and you also have Bobby Miller and Gavin Stone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the pitching depth you need to win a World Series.
Yeah, I mean, pitching. I don't believe pitching was really our problem last year, especially in the playoffs. I mean, the Dodgers are always a regular season juggernaut. They're gonna win 90 plus games since they've gone through their rebuild. But in the playoffs, it was our offense that completely let us down. Like, I think we only scored like 15 runs in 4 games against the Padres, or even less than that probably. Like, it was disappointing to see that
Yeah, it was
after
less.
the best season that we've seen from them in a while.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to our next point, and this has to go, they're kind of combined, the luxury tax. So first, I will explain the luxury tax to people that don't understand it. So there is a cap of 233 million that if you stay under it, you don't have to pay a luxury tax. And what happens is each year that you're over it, you pay a higher and higher percentage. The Dodgers are on their 5th year right now, which means they're paying about 50% tax on every single dollar spent. So if they spend $200 million this year, they have to pay $100 million in taxes, meaning their payroll comes out to $300 million. So if you get under the luxury tax, you reset that down to 20%. And that's why a lot of people are speculating that we get under the luxury tax and we go out big signings next year and we don't have to pay as much on the tax side of it. Now saying that, Trevor Bauer reduced suspension and we release him. So we're still on the hook for $22.5 million, which puts us over the luxury tax again. And also, just before we get into the luxury tax side of it, I think this is very hypocritical of the Dodgers to release Trevor Bauer when he was proven innocent in court, when Julio Urias proven guilty for abusing his wife, I believe it was. It was on U.S. soil, so I think that's why. Also, and that he's a top young prospect, not prospect anymore, but top young pitcher. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, but that's where I'm standing at it right now.
Obviously, I don't want to see him pitching against us and us paying $22 million. So from a business standpoint, it was a little bit hard to wrap my head around it. But at the same time, I feel like it was in the best interest of the clubhouse, and the fact that another team hasn't picked him up to this day kind of makes me feel a little bit different about it, in the sense that I
Hmm.
think it might have been the right decision
I mean, some
because
teams,
he's just arrogant.
yeah, some teams like the bigger market teams don't want to bring that PR there. I can totally see Trevor Bauer going to the Rays or going to the Athletic A's, a smaller market team where they're not going to have a lot of PR. And then he proves himself in the first half of the season, gets traded at the trade deadline to a team that's contending. So,
Totally.
yeah, just paying him 22.2 million to
Does it wait
potentially
once?
pitch
Let's
against
say he
us.
does get picked up. If he does get picked up, does that still affect our luxury tax?
Yes, we still have to pay the 22.2 million, even if he
But
gets picked
do
up,
we
even
just
if he
pay him
doesn't play
straight up?
baseball. It's prorated. So
What?
if he doesn't get signed till the middle of the season, we only have to pay him 11.1 million, but it's prorated to how many games he's gonna play. I believe we're still on the
That's
hook to
brutal.
pay him even if he doesn't play, but
Yeah,
it
yeah,
will
yeah,
be
yeah.
prorated if he does play. So,
Nice.
speaking of that luxury tax, now that we're over it, I can see the Dodgers at the trade deadline, and this is going to be really hard to do, especially when we're going to be in the playoff run again, and we're going to want to add to our team to get better chances to winning the World Series. But the Dodgers are probably going to try and get under that luxury tax, so they're going to trade away people and try and get under if they're really trying to have big signings next year, which means that they'll have to lose about 14 million in salary, which will be hard to do.
Yeah, I just honestly don't see that happening. I don't see
Hmm.
any way they do that via trading or whatnot.
Hmm.
But I definitely do think that they're not going to spend as much anymore because of the fact that they want to spend on guys next year.
Hmm. Yeah.
But 14 mil is a lot to just shed for for right now, especially at the trade deadline. But
Yeah. 100%. I mean, we do have like five of the top 10 richest owners in baseball, and all their net worths are in the
yeah,
billions. So I mean, it's not, and it's a good thing that we have a bunch of owners for the Dodgers. We have a group instead of just a sole owner. So I mean, it's not the end of the world that we're not under luxury tax, but I mean, it would be nice to reset that so we can make a bigger signing and potentially spend more money like the Mets are doing this year. But
yeah. Honestly, I just think it's the Los Angeles Dodgers. You're gonna have to spend money.
hmm
That's how it is. We're a huge market team. They're not gonna stop spending money if they're still over that tax this year.
hmm yeah. So I mean, going over overall thoughts on the Dodgers offseason. I mean, I think it's like I said at the beginning, I think it's a good offseason for them. Not making big long signings like we've seen in the past couple of years, but getting guys that could be huge pieces to us being on a Dodgers team like
Yeah.
Noah Syndergaard, JD Martinez. If Jason Hayward can even go back to just being a 250 hitter, maybe 20 bombs around there, that's better than Cody Bellinger was the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So,
Also forgetting about Miggy Rowe,
hmm
starting shortstop, second best defensive shortstop in the game.
hmm
Um, that's another amazing pickup.
yeah. So I know we talked about this a little bit, but I have mixed feelings about signing him or trading away for him because that's blocking a spot from one of our prospects, specifically Miguel Vargas, because now he will not get as many reps as he would have without him. Because think about it, Gavin Lux would have slid over to shortstop probably. We would have had second base and third base open for Max Muncy, Chris Taylor, and Vargas. You give Max Muncy the DH, Vargas plays third, probably Taylor at second. But now on days where Rojas is playing, you got Lux over at second. Muncy's playing third whenever Will Smith is on his off day, DHing. Because you need Muncy's bat in there. I don't think we're going to take that out of the lineup, expect on off days. So it is taking some reps away from Vargas, who is our top prospect hitting wise, so we should be getting the most ABs to him.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they do. I could see something like this working out where opening day it's Will Smith behind the dish, Miguel Vargas at third, and Muncy at second. Or not Muncy, Lux at second, Vargas at short, and then Muncy DHing. And then the outfield, you'll piece that together. But I think Chris Taylor also deserves some innings to see if he could really do it.
I mean,
and maybe, I don't know.
Taylor was originally, when we traded for him and acquired him, he was a shortstop, and we turned him more into a utility guy. So he is capable of playing very good defensively. It's just whether his bat will be figured out this year.
Yeah.
I mean, that
was the only flaw, really.
That's a bunch of the Dodgers are like Max Muncy. We got to figure his bat out a little bit more. And so, yeah. I mean, any other thoughts before we wrap this up?
I just thought there's a lot, although we didn't sign the necessarily any of the big fish out there. I think Dodgers fans should be content / excited for this upcoming season. I mean, one of the things we've been doing is winning 100 million games in the regular season, and then not winning in the postseason. So now maybe scratching together some wins, getting to 95, 100 wins. Maybe if that's even wild card, and then getting hot in postseason is what we need. So, yeah, I think this is going to be another World Series contending team.
I mean, it's just crazy to think of the names that we lost, and we're still in contention for one of the top teams. So in the West, so
yeah,
it's just crazy. But yeah, we'll see how this season goes. We'll see how they play against the Padres, and we'll see how this division shakes out. It'll be a fun season to watch for sure. But yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next podcast. If any other updates happen to the Dodgers in the offseason, we'll definitely be back here talking about it. But we will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.